Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Stone Stadium, where the University of South Carolina Gamecocks are taking on the USC Upstate Spartans. I want to thank you for joining us today. I'm Zander Collins, and I'm joined by my good friend Austin McConnell in what is just the ninth meeting between these two teams. Historically, South Carolina getting the better of USC Upstate, but USC Upstate hoping to change that here tonight. They're also looking to change their form. Not a great season by their standards by any means, sitting at 1-4 and in sixth place in the Big South. Excuse me. And the Gamecocks looking to continue their unbeaten record, continue their form. They're coming off of a big win against Belmont, sitting in joint fourth in what is probably one of the best soccer conferences in the Sun Belt. Very stacked. Austin, are you excited?
I'm very excited. This is the first soccer game I've been able to do, but I've heard so many storylines about Carolina this year, including that 2-2 draw against the #1 team in the country and their big-time rival in the Palmetto Series, Clemson. So it's going to be very exciting to watch them play live here tonight, and I'm glad to call it alongside you, Zander.
Shall we do some lineups then?
Let's get to it.
In between the sticks for the South Carolina Gamecocks is #1 Philippe Vistier. Their backline is composed of #2 and the Sun Belt Conference Defensive Player of the Week, Andrew Goldsworthy. He is joined by #3 Gabriel Atienza, #4 Junior St. Just, #5 William Nilsson. Their midfield is composed of #10 Ethan Ballack, #12 Sebastian Revenlo-Maurier, #13 Jonah Bigar, #15 Alejandro Velasquez Lopez, and up front for the Gamecocks is captain #23 Harrison Myring and forward #30 Gabe Nickerson.
And for USC Upstate, starting in goal is Cooper Jennings. And we'll get you the rest of this roster after the national anthem.
The military style hand salute as a veteran or active duty military personnel, not uniform.
Getting back to those rosters, starting for USC Upstate, in goal is going to be #0, Cooper Jennings. At defense, #2, Elijah Jackson. Midfield, #6 is Luke Halkett. Forward, #7, Dario Stadler. Forward, #9, Adrian Panate. Midfielder, #10, Fabian Dietrich. Defense, 16, Carson Hickok. Also at defense, #17, Anthony Cox. Two more defensemen coming up, #25, Sam Terlindy, and #27, Jacob Benz, and at midfield, #29, Liam Duggan.
Yes, if you're just joining us, thank you so much for coming to this with us. Austin and I are very excited for this matchup. As we mentioned earlier, Austin, kind of a disappointing season for the USC Upstate Spartans. What can they do against this Carolina team that's been in great form?
Yeah, it's taken a long time for USC Upstate to get on the road and get the ball rolling. They only have one win this year, whereas Carolina's done the opposite. They've gone off to a very hot start, one of the hottest starts they've had in quite some time. So they're going to have to throw everything at Carolina here tonight because they are disciplined and they are ready for USC Upstate to come into Stone Stadium and give them all they got.
You got to think, if you're Carolina, especially as conference play starts to come up, big games coming up, and specifically in 2 games against Marshall, #7, they've got to win this one.
Yeah, they got to get the wins when they can, especially these out-of-conference games, because that's what's going to get you into the NCAA tournament at the end of the year is these strong out-of-conference strength of schedules. And like we already mentioned, tying Clemson, #1 team in the country. They're going to have another top 10 opponent in Marshall coming up soon. They're going to have to play just as good, even better against that team.
Yeah, South Carolina joint 4th in the Sun Belt Conference with those great teams like West Virginia, Marshall, Kentucky coming up. they've been doing very well. Like we said, they're undefeated. They're looking to continue that form. USC Upstate 1-4 this season, looking to hopefully cause an upset.
Yeah, they're looking to shake up the soccer world. They're trying to flip their season around. They've been on the road for quite a few games already, trying to get the ball rolling. Like I just mentioned, this is the perfect opportunity to do it. In-state matchup. They're going to come in to Columbia and maybe catch a Tuesday night late nap for Carolina here. Maybe they're not ready for them as they should be.
Absolutely. They're coming off of a 5-2 loss to Liberty. Showed some promise in that game, but the scoreline tells the whole side of the story. I mean, losing that badly. They're looking for a redemption arc here tonight, and it just so happens that they're playing a very good South Carolina side who, like we mentioned, is undefeated, and they don't have any plan of stopping soon.
Absolutely. You mentioned what USC Upstate has to do. I mean, taking a look at some of the statistics, they're just getting outshot in everybody they play, not even these huge teams that play in the Sun Belt. It's their matchups against East Tennessee State as well. They are getting outshot in both the first and second half. So we got to, if you're USC Upstate, they're going to have to throw everything on offense and just attack Phillip in goal for Carolina and just get as many shots on goal as possible.
It's going to be a little bit difficult. As we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Andrew Goldsworthy just named Sun Belt Conference Defensive Player of the Week, and I think it's rightfully so. Especially if I was covering the game against Clemson, he had what must have been close to 10 blocks. Been in a very, very important part of this back line for the Gamecocks. He's looking to continue that form. Back line's been solid, and I don't think they should have much problems against this Spartan side.
And that's a compliment to the very new coaching staff here for South Carolina. Tony Annan's in his third year. He was named head coach in 2021. He's the second head coach ever in Gamecock history, but his assistants, Nathan Smith, Paul Jennison, and Josh Bronsdorf, all new. Nathan Smith came in the summer of 2023, and Paul Jennison and Josh Bronsdorf were just added this past offseason in 2024. So very young coaching staff, but it's paying off so far as they've had some big-time matchups and some big-time results in those matchups. So they're looking for another big one here tonight.
Absolutely, Austin. 45 minutes on the clock. We're about to kick off here. It'll be Adrien Panait, an important player for this UFC Upstate side. Ball goes long. It's going to be collected by Jonah Bigar. He's going to dribble through at midfield. He's going to get taken away by Panait. Panait dribbling on that left-hand side, trying to beat Bigar. It's going to go out for a throw, and it's going to be USC Upstate's ball. It's thrown back all the way to Sam Terlinda. Linda across the back line to number 27, Jacob Benz. Benz carrying the ball nicely into midfield. Kind of miscues that, and it's going to go all the way back to Vistier. Vistier, a very important player for this Gamecock side. Freshman, he's looking for his first clean sheet of the season. We talk about how good that defense has been for Carolina. They're still looking for their first clean sheet. Only conceding one goal against Belmont last week, but it was a penalty, so props to Vistier having such a big role as a freshman.
Yeah, the 6'3" freshman, like you just mentioned, from Denmark. I wanted to bring up that 13 out of 28 players come from outside the United States. That's a very diverse team, and I think that's played a lot into why they've had so much success this year is because they play at universities overseas, universities over here, but coming from Brazil, Buenos Aires, like a bunch of different countries represented here in Columbia, South Carolina.
Nickerson down the line to Ballack. Nickerson still with the ball in the left wing, cutting inside, sending a cross in. Oh, that's just behind for Velasquez Lopez. He scored the winner in last week's game. We were just talking about Belmont. It's going to be Carolina's first set piece of the match. It's going to be a corner. They've been pretty dangerous on these corners this season. They're looking to whip one in and hopefully get a head on it and get into the goal. Carolina, a lot of possession so far in this match, just kind of playing it around the back line, seeing if things will open up. But that's a testament to the well-shaped midfield of this USC Upstate team. We mentioned not a lot of success this season, but they've started off this game defending pretty well. It's going to be Velasquez Lopez on the corner. He's going to play to the top of the box for Ballack. He's going to play it back to Revenlow Morier, just outside the D, and it's going to go onto the left wing for Nickerson. And he plays Revenlow on the overlap. Back all the way to Revenlow at about midfield. He's going to send in a cross. He's going to find Bigar at the back post. It's going to be headed on, and it's saved by Cooper Jennings. Cooper Jennings, a lot to do so far, just in these opening 3 minutes. He's going to play it long, and it's going to be collected by Junior St. Just. Oh, poor touch by St. Just. And it's going to go to, it's collected now by Andrew Goldsworthy, as we mentioned, Sun Belt Conference Player of the Week, Defensive Player of the Week, excuse me. He's still got the ball. He's going to play it out to Jonah Begar. Begar's going to play it out left to Gabe Nickerson. Scored the goal. He's going to be fouled here. Nickerson scored the goal to put Carolina up against that #1 Clemson side. He's quick to get up. He wins the foul for his side, and Carolina very much so on the front foot so far.
Yeah, we talked about how USC Upstate has to attack at Carolina. Carolina's making sure that does not happen. They're having an attack of their own. As like you just mentioned, USC Upstate on their heels currently, just kicking it to get it out of their zone and give their goalkeeper a breath.
Yeah, absolutely. Adienza is mispossessed there, and Nilsson's going to clean it up for a USC Upstate throw-in. That ball almost got to us in the press box.
That was coming up. I was looking down at my sheet, looked back up, and saw a big neon ball coming at us. Thankfully, there was a lot of fans in front of us here tonight. It was a great turnout to stop that ball from getting up here.
Hickox throws the ball in to number 9, Panat. Number 7, it's going to come off of number 7, Dario Stadler. And it's going, oh, it's another throw in for Upstate. It'll be Carson Hickok again, looking to get a long throw into the box here. He's going to play to the top of the box. It's a wonderful touch, and it's taken away by Adienza. Nilsson's going to play a releasing ball to Junior St. Just on this right side where he's been so dangerous this season. He's going to play it through to Harrison Myring. Myring's on the right wing here, trying to beat his man, and it's going to go out for another Carolina throw. No one seems to want to take it for Carolina here, but Goldsworthy slowly making his way over to that right-hand side for Carolina to hopefully get something going here on the throw.
Carolina doing a good job, like we said, keeping USC Upstate on their heels, but also when they're in their side of the field, they're not rushing anything. They're staying very calm, cool, and collected. As you saw how long it took them to get that throw in. They want to make sure they have everything set up the right way.
Revenlow with a ball in. It's going to be towards Nilsson at the back post. He gets ahead to it, but goes backwards. And now UC Upstate on the break with number 7, Dario Stadler. Stadler still with the ball. He plays it out wide to Panat. Panat trying to take on St. Just. It's played back to number 29, Liam Duggan, and across to number 2, Elijah Jackson. On the left wing here is Nilsson winning a throw for his side. Sorry, it was Revenlow, sorry.
Adrian Panate, the leading goal scorer for USC Upstate this year. He's done a great job getting behind defenses like this, but like you talked about, Andrew Goldsworthy winning Defensive Player of the Week. This is a very fast and a very big USC, South Carolina, I should say, defensive four.
Gotta say that in this matchup. Nilsson back on the right side of the pitch in that back line, playing it across to Goldsworthy and back over to Jonah Begar. Begar's going to go long here. Looks like St. Just is offside. Yes, they're going to call offside as Cooper Jennings grabs the ball and has a set piece for his side. Actually, they're going to play an advantage here for Cooper Jennings. He's going to roll the ball all the way out to number 27, Jacob Benz, and back to Cooper in the sticks. It's going to be kicked out by Nilsson. He's had a lot to do so far, especially with these clearances. When in doubt, boot it out. It's USC Upstate with the throw. So we have 38 minutes left in this first half. He's going to go long, try to find his teammate there. It's going to be flicked on by Velasquez Lopez and then dispossessed. It's going to be Stadler with the ball, trying to go past Jonah Begar. Revenlow collects, back to Begar. Long ball down the sideline. It's going to stay in for Ethan Ballack. He's trying to win that physical battle, but Duggan gets the best of him. Still trapped in that left corner. Velasquez Lopez now on the ball, looking to see if he can get a cross in. Teeing up with his left foot, goes across the goal. It's just too far for St. Just, but Revenlow Morier will collect at the top of the box and swing another one in. No one's there. Clearance gets back all the way to Velasquez Lopez, and now Nickerson on the left-hand side, his cross too low, and will be intercepted by Duggan. Duggan looking for an outlet pass all the way to Stadler and now to Panat on this right-hand side of their squad. Big, important block by Adienza there. coming way far up the pitch to make sure that that ball does not cross his own half.
South Carolina playing a very calm, cool, and collected game, but we saw some flashes of speed there from their forwards and a bunch of balls played up ahead. They're trying to catch USC Upstate sleeping as they're trying to play the physical game.
As Dietrich has a bad touch, and it'll go out for a quick throw by Nickerson down to Myring on this left-hand side. Beats his defender, goes in for a cross. It'll be cleared out, but not as far as Nickerson again, as he's toying with the defender kind of on this left-hand side. Played back to Jonah Begar, and possession is recycled all the way back to Andrew Goldsworthy. And now Nilsson. Nilsson holding the ball up nicely. Back to Goldsworthy in the middle of this pitch. And to Jonah Begar on this left-hand side for the Gamecocks. He'll play it back to Goldsworthy. As we mentioned, Sunbelt Conference Defensive Player of the Week. And possession is kind of going around this back line. Nilsson will make a tight move, try to find some space in the middle, and it'll be back out to Jonah Begar on this left-hand side. Played into Revan Lamorier, back to Begar, and now to Velasquez Lopez on this left-hand side. He cuts in, and it's dispossessed. But Jonah Begar will continue possession for the Gamecocks, and possession will be recycled all the way back to the back line with Goldsworthy and Nilsson. Adienza kind of playing higher up than he's used to, kind of playing in a 6 role for this Carolina side. Begar will look to switch play all the way to Nilsson at right back, and he'll have a lot of time and space. He'll do a long ball to Myring. Myring's in. It's just too far, and it'll go right into the gloves of Cooper Jennings. Something that the Carolina Gamecocks did a lot in that game against Clemson. These higher lines of these defenses force them to go long, and they haven't been able to connect a lot this season on that. But Myring will intercept a pass, and it'll go straight back to USC Upstate. Try to play a through ball, and it'll go all the way back to Vistier. Goldsworthy now with the ball, urging his team to calm down. They've been very good in possession so far this game, not forcing anything too much other than those long balls as we were speaking about, Austin. But as Goldsworthy tees up another one for Nickerson on this left-hand side, but it'll be shielded out for a throw. Or for a goal kick, sorry.
Myring has been a great forward for South Carolina this year as well. He and Ethan Ballack are tied for the most goals on the team. Ballack has 3. Myring has 3 as well. Ballack with the upper hand with 2 assists, getting him to 8 points. But a lot of consistency from those 2 players, but also a lot of diversity on the score sheet for a lot of South Carolina players.
When you have results like 7-1 against Winthrop in their first game, there's bound to be a lot of different names on the score sheet. But as you mentioned, Austin, Ballack, Myring having huge impacts so far for this Gamecock squad this season.
Yeah, South Carolina's offense has been superior, like we've already talked about a few times tonight, because they have taken 19 more shots than opponents overall and have scored 7 more goals, and they have one of the best goal differentials in the country. They rank 37th.
Jennings will send it long off the goal kick. It'll be one in possession by Revelo Morier. He'll play it out to Jonah Begar, who's had a lot of the ball so far this game. Goldsworthy kind of pressured into making a big boot up the field. Header won by USC Upstate, and then by Revelo Morier. The header will go all the way back to USC Upstate's back line, and Cooper Jennings will try to make something happen. He boots it long to this left-hand side, and the header will be won by St. Just, and now Goldsworthy on the ball. Ballack, as we mentioned, such an important player. Back to Nilsson, and Jonah Begar with probably what must be his 20th touch of the game. He'll play it into Revelo Morier, and back to Nilsson. On this right-hand side with Goldsworthy. Gamecocks going right to left, and USC Upstate going left to right as Begar's pass is intercepted, as he intercepts another pass, working hard to get that ball back. It'll be headed away by William Nilsson, and it'll be another throw for number 16, Carson Hickok.
Good there play by Nilsson, just getting it out, letting his defense reset. We saw a couple guys out of position there. USC Upstate was looking to pounce.
Yes. Number 10, Fabian Dietrich, playing a ball out to 29, Liam Duggan, and now USC Upstate has a chance. First time they've had some meaningful possession. They'll squirt it back down to Sam Terlinda, and he'll go all the way back to number 27, Jacob Benz. Benz on the ball. goes for a long ball, trying to beat Jonah Begar. It'll be headed out to Revan Lemorier, and possession will be with number 10, Fabian Dietrich, as he goes all the way back to Cooper Jennings. Jennings taking his time, looking for someone, chooses to go long in search of Stadler, but it'll be won by Gabe Nickerson. And Stadler wins this ball back from them on the right-hand side, and he'll dribble it out. Jonah Begar on the throw. He's taken a lot of the throws for South Carolina this season, especially when they've been on this left-hand side. As this ball's been bouncing around a lot, they're looking to continue some possession, some meaningful possession, as Nickerson's touch is too far, and it'll be St. Just's ball. Steer boots it out, and Ballack is looking to run onto it, but header is won by Sam Terlinda, and it'll be a South Carolina throw.
Mentioned the good crowd here tonight. Carolina led the nation last season in attendance with 4,300 for the second straight season, and they're on track to do that again this season in the Sun Belt and nationally.
Big football game against LSU. I think these people are trying to get their points so that they can get a ticket. Big switch by Adienza to Gabe Nickerson, who's free on this left-hand side to cut in. Onto his left foot, it'll be blocked, and a cross goes in. It'll go out for another corner for USC. The Gamecocks, I should say. As we mentioned, both teams having USC in their name. Could be kind of confusing, but Nickerson does well there to win a corner for his squad.
Nickerson has a goal this year, so he's got a couple points to his name. He's had a 500 shot percentage, so he definitely knows how to feed the ball, and he's going to do it again here in the corner.
Yeah, Nickerson scoring with about a minute into the second half against Clemson. It's going to be a corner by Velasquez Lopez to the back post. It'll be headed across. Oh, and just over by Andrew Goldsworthy. He was about at the 6. He's done well to miss there. I mean, meaning that it was probably easier to score than it was to miss.
Yeah, Goldsworthy, you mentioned multiple times, Defensive Player of the Week. He was on the header there. He had a chance to score his first goal of the season, and he has an assist, but doesn't always contribute on offense. Very defensive player, as he's been recognized for. A great opportunity getting in the box there.
In fact, a fifth year, getting his first goal involvement last game against Belmont on an assist to Harrison Myring.
Talked about the coaches, Tony Annan. He's had a great first few seasons here, but he had to make a few additions this offseason as he's still looking for his first winning record here at South Carolina.
Hickok back to Duggan, and Duggan back to Cooper. Cooper Jennings, that is. On this left-hand side now for USC Upstate, that'll be Elijah Jackson trying to beat Adienza. Adienza will kick it out for a USC Upstate throw-in. Just under 30 minutes to play in this first half. Austin, what are you seeing from both these sides?
I'm seeing a lot of composure from South Carolina, but they're striking when they need to. And here's USC Upstate trying to return the favor.
Stadler's in the box. Plays across back, but it'll be intercepted by Begar. And Begar will try to get this ball out and will send it up the length of the pitch to Ballack with a beautiful touch on this left-hand side. And once again, Ben's getting the better of Ballack physically on this left-hand side when he's been out there. It's been a physical battle, but not one he's been able to win so far.
Carolina took a very slow approach at the beginning of this game, trying to stay composed, like I just mentioned a few seconds ago. But now they're starting to ramp up the pace here and get that first goal on the board. Just over 16 minutes into this game so far.
Gabe Nickerson on the throw for the Gamecocks. Trying to find somebody. Yet to throw it. They'll send a ball into Revan Lemorier, but it'll be headed away and collected by Jennings. Now Elijah Jackson on this left-hand side for USC Upstate. Plays to Duggan and plays that 1-2 with Duggan. Looking for a long ball here. Panat is there, but also is Defensive Player of the Week, Andrew Goldsworthy, and he'll head it back to Hickox. USC Upstate looking to find a 1-2 here on this right-hand side, but it'll be blocked out by Revan Lemorier for what seems to be Carson Hickox's 5th or 6th throw-in for this USC Upstate team. I should add captain Carson Hickok.
hope he's stretched out well in the warm-ups because he's using his full body here tonight.
Yeah, they don't tell you about the arms. You think everything's with your feet, but when the ball keeps going out, you're going to have some stuff to do with your arms.
Well, and people don't also realize that it's such a physical game out here. And you can see it on TV a little bit, but camera doesn't capture everything. You get here live and you see everybody's running around. Everybody's right next to somebody. Everybody's getting bumped off the ball at some point.
Jennings sending it long, and Begar will head it off of number 7, Dario Stadler, for a throw-in for the Gamecocks. Begar surveying, trying to find someone. Checking in for him is Myring, who will flick it on to Ballack on this left-hand side. Trying to beat number 6. Back to Velasquez Lopez, who scored that winner last week against Belmont. Back to Jonah Begar. Important challenge there from number 10. And Velasquez Lopez will be free on this left-hand side to cut in. And unleash a shot. Oh, it'll be deflected right off of Jennings, but will fall right back out to Harrison Myring, who continues his goal-scoring run this season.
Yeah, he takes over Ethan's spot at the top. He's got his 4th goal as now the leader of this South Carolina team. Great cleanup in front of the net there. It's 1-0 Gamecocks.
And it was coming, Austin. A lot of chances in this first half, specifically with some of those crosses. But this time, Velasquez Lopez is able to cut in, unleash a shot. It will go straight at Jennings, and it will pop back out. And who else but Harrison Myring to tap it in?
It was definitely noticeable that South Carolina was trying to get that first goal so they could play from a lead. And they finally got it about just under 20 minutes into this match. A great start for South Carolina here in the first half. They're going to look to add to this momentum as Sandstorm playing here in Stone Stadium.
You love to hear it. You love to see it.
Tony Annan giving his man advice. Ethan Ballack.
25 minutes left. Panat will kick off, and it will go to Benz. And now Hickox on this right-hand side will play a ball into, and it'll be knocked out by number 7, Dario Stadler, and it'll be another throw for this Gamecock squad.
So now USC Upstate is being told, pressure now, try and get this goal back. Do everything you can to not let this game get out of hand.
And it's been hard for them to keep up in this game, especially when the Gamecocks have been able to hold possession in their own half. It's kind of smart from the USC Upstate side to not press as much, kind of conserve that energy, but still it gives them a bunch of time to just knock the ball around.
USC Upstate has been outscored by more than 2
Quick
goals.
throw from Nickerson on this left-hand side for Myring. A lot coming on this left-hand side for the Gamecocks in this squad. Nice little cutback from Myring. He tees up a cross. It'll go right to St. Just on that back post. Revan Lamorian unleashes a shot off the post, and Myring is there to finish for his 2nd goal of the game.
Just like that, Myring again playing cleanup for the Gamecocks. That one this time goes off the post. What a great shot from the far field. And then he was left. He had a campfire built right in front of USC Upstate's goal, and he finds his 2nd in 2 minutes.
Yes, Revan Lamorier with some space at the top of the box, able to unleash a shot that will hit the post and pop out right to the man who's always in the right spot, it seems, is Harrison Myring. And now he's starting to run away with that top goal scorer position for this Gamecock squad.
Yeah, he has absolutely added to the score sheet tonight. He's using this game as a lot of help. And like you just mentioned, a great shot from the point there. But right place, right time, and number 23 finds the back of the net.
Showing why he's the captain with 2 goals in what seems to be less than a minute and a half for this Gamecock squad. Panat will kick off now for USC Upstate as they hope to get back into this one.
I was mentioning before that USC Upstate has been outscored by more than 2 goals per game on average. Their opponents have 3. They have 1.2. So South Carolina taking advantage of that and getting those goals early and playing from a couple-goal lead.
Goldsworthy with a beautiful turn in his own box to release Nilsson, and now St. Just on this right-hand side. St. Just will play a long ball into Myring, and he'll be offside.
Myring got a little too excited there, looking for that hat trick.
It's a good call, though.
Great call by the official.
A little bit eager, as we said, to add to his tally, especially getting 2 goals in a minute. He feels like he can get maybe 5 more in this one. But it'll be Sam Terlinda on this free kick out to Elijah Jackson as they will try to continue to have some possession in their own half. Ballack with an interception. but it'll be quickly kicked out by Sam Terlinda. It looks like St. Juice will take this throw in for the Gamecocks.
Balak's not letting Myring run away with that goal
No,
too quickly.
You got to imagine they have some friendly competition.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There's definitely some talks in the locker room. There's some banter for sure. But it's good banter because it helps South Carolina one way or another, whoever scores.
There you go. Banter. That's a soccer word.
Yeah, there we go. Look at me.
Balak will receive the throw and play Atienza, as we mentioned, in a higher position than he's used to win another throw on this right-hand side for the Gamecocks. Goldsworthy will step up to take the throw as St. Juice will walk back to the back line. You got to think that Goldsworthy's going to look to try to get this one into the box as players are arriving at the 6.
South Carolina is 16-3-2 when scoring first under Tony Annan.
It'll be headed away. Goldsworthy wins back possession. Crosses into Jonah Begar. It'll be played to the feet of Nickerson, and his touch just too large and will be swallowed up by Jennings.
Yeah, like I mentioned, South Carolina, when they score first, they're 2-0-1 this year in 2024, 16-3-2 under Tony Annan. Definitely important for the boys in white to score first. And when they score 2 goals, it hasn't been the story you would expect. They're 1-0-2 so far this year. One of those coming against Clemson, one of those draws. But if they can get to 3 goals, they are yet to be unbeaten or drawn against when
With
scoring
the long
3.
throw to Atienza in the middle of the field, who has kind of a heavy touch, but is able to continue the ball over to St. Just, who's had a lot of space on this right-hand side. And St. Just will look for Balak. Balak will kind of hold the ball up, play a dink a little ball out to the right for St. Just, who will play an early ball in, but it will be deflected by Elijah Jackson. Jackson finding a long ball in to Palat, but it'll be headed away by Goldson, and Stadler will play a ball out to this left-hand side for a cross. It'll be cleared away by Jonah Begar all the way out to Van der Linde. Cooper Jennings with Myring following him will play a ball out to Elijah Jackson on this left-hand side, and will play Hacklett.
We've seen USC Upstate get across midfield a couple times here and maybe even get deep into the South Carolina zone, but they can't keep the ball down there because they're just kind of playing kickball. They've got to find some better passing and find it right to their man's feet so they can get more shots on goal where they have lacked in 2024.
Absolutely. They've been able to kind of get in those wide positions, but their crosses nothing has come from their crosses. They're kind of rushing. I mean, we mentioned how much possession this Gamecock squad has had as Jonah Begar is fouled and wins a free kick for his squad. But we talk about how much possession this Gamecock squad has had thus far in this match, making USC feel like they have to rush when they're on the ball.
Yeah, USC Upstate's also playing a deeper midfield. They're helping out their defense here so that they don't get caught sleeping for South Carolina. They don't have many people to get ahead or a foot on the ball in the box. They got to bring more people up.
Atienza with the ball into Velasquez Lopez at the top of the box. Does a nice little roulette around someone. Balak's shot saved from point-blank range, and another save for Cooper Jennings. He's had a lot to do so far in this game, Austin, with saving Balak's shot from about what seemed to be 5 yards out.
Yeah, he's basically had to do it all for USC Upstate
as
so
he
far.
Goes down
as
here.
He's down to the right of the goal here. He took a pretty hard shot there,
Must have hit him in the stomach.
Right in front of him. He probably just got the wind knocked out of him.
Yeah.
He's already sitting back up. He's maybe just catching his breath a little bit, but that was definitely a hard shot from point blank, like you mentioned. Almost Carolina getting their 3rd goal.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely coming, Austin. As we mentioned, for those of you who have just joined, 2 goals in a minute and a half for Harrison Myring, showing why he's the captain of this squad. Both goals actually coming from deflections back out into the box, and he's been ready to pounce. Fox in the box.
Yeah, another corner coming up here. Jennings, all good. He's back in goal. Just got the wind knocked out of him just a little bit. And here comes the corner. Fans getting excited because they get some treats if they get a goal on the corner kick.
Velasquez Lopez on the corner. Nickerson's going to come short, but he's going to receive the ball here and look to find Balak in the middle of the park. Back out to Velasquez Lopez on that left-hand side. Back to Balak. Balak will drive and play a ball across the field to Junior St. Just, who's going to send in a through ball to Nilsson, just out of the reach of Nilsson's head, and Cooper Jennings will once again clean up the play. Anthony Cox on this left-hand side for USC Upstate, keeping the ball for what seems to have been a lot more time than they've been able to in this game. And this ball will come out to this right-hand side for Hickox. Back to Duggan. And Duggan will play a ball out to Elijah Jackson on this left-hand side. Up to Cox. He'll play a ball up to about the box for Halkett. And it'll be intercepted by Ethan Balak. Played back to Velasquez Lopez, and St. Just does well to not win a foul. The ref will play advantage, and on this right-hand side is Myring looking to play an early cross in, but it'll be deflected by Verlinda, and it will go out for another Gamecocks corner.
Yeah, Carolina definitely getting their fair share of corners here from both sides of the field. Cooper Jennings directing traffic in his box, trying to set everybody up. Carolina brings up everybody when it comes to a corner kick. Only one back there, and that's number 4, Junior St. Justy.
Looking ahead for the Gamecocks as they set up this corner is East Tennessee State later in this week. Austin and I will be covering that one for you all. After that, a big matchup against number 7 Marshall.
Yeah, East Tennessee State being a very common opponent as USC Upstate actually has their lone win against them in a 2-0 match.
Nothing to come from this corner, and USC Upstate will be able to break here. Halkett on this right-hand side. He's got no one, so he's got to kind of slow down and recycle possession back into the midfield. It'll be him back on this right-hand side looking to fake a cross here. And it'll go all the way back to Dietrich, who kind of miscommunicates with Halkett on this right-hand side, and it'll come out for a goal kick. Freshman from Denmark, Philippe Vestier, not had much to do.
I was just about to say, Vestier's kind of got his first busy activity to do here tonight. He's going to get those probably colder legs now that he hasn't had anything to do for however many minutes. It's been a while. He's just been standing in goal, kind of watching his offense go to work here.
Yeah, 17 minutes left to play in this first half. Vestier, kind of delegating that goal kick responsibility to Goldsworthy. So hasn't had a lot to do and decided to let someone else do something. Long ball for Myring will be headed away by Linda, but Balak retains possession for the Gamecocks, and Gabe Nickerson will be once again on this left-hand side with some space. He'll play it back to Bigar, who sends it to Revenlow. Bigar looking to find Revenlow again, and intercepted here. And Palat will have the ball, and actually, Jonah Bigar will do his job and grab it right back. Adienza plays a long ball out to this right-hand side for St. Just, looking to play an early cross in. It'll go to the back post for Myring. It's cleared out, and it almost fell to Balak, but it'll be cleared out by USC Upstate.
Yeah, Adrian Pane had a good chance down here in the zone. Could have pushed the odd man rush. They didn't really have anybody up, so he tried to peel back, and that's when it got re-intercepted by Carolina.
Nickerson down on the field here. Perhaps a cramp or something. Jack Burgess will warm up on this sideline, getting ready to come in for the Gamecocks.
Looks like we got a USC Upstate player down as well by the goal box down there. Can't quite tell who that is, but it is a hot night, very humid. Definitely some cramps could be involved as the time is paused with 16:07 to remain in this first half.
Junior defender Guy Ellis looking like he's getting ready to come on, warming up on this sideline for USC Upstate. Spartan defenders had a lot to do, so it makes sense if a substitution were to happen. But, I mean, for the goals they've conceded, some of that backline's been very solid.
Yeah, this is definitely a much-needed water break for them as they can kind of shake out their legs a little bit and drink some mustard or pickle juice if they need to.
Disgusting.
Not cramp up. That was never my style. I just kind of dealt with it.
Yeah.
But it is not an easy thing to deal with. It hurts a lot, and especially if your muscle tenses up. He looks like he's up. He's kind of moving around, maybe shaking out his leg just a little bit. But like I mentioned, definitely a hot night. You got to stay hydrated. Everybody getting water here, and making sure that they're not cramping up as well.
Nickerson coming off with on his own accord for number 8, Jack Burgess. Been a very important player in the midfield, especially coming off the bench for this Gamecock squad this season.
Yeah, Jack Burgess, the redshirt junior from Hampton, New Hampshire, previously played at Boston College, transferred here. 5'10" midfielder wearing number 8.
Big game player. ACC's no joke, neither is the Sun Belt Conference, so he plays at a very high level throughout his career. As play will resume shortly here with a throw-in close to the corner flag for Andrew Goldsworthy on this left-hand side for the Gamecocks.
Yeah, he's definitely had Jack Burgess we're still talking about. He's played Clemson a couple times, so he was definitely a big help to South Carolina, whether he was on the field or not for that game. He was in the locker room hyping him up because I guarantee you he doesn't like them just as much as we do.
Very true. A long throw with a long run-up from Goldsworthy, looking to find a head in the box. Long throw will go just about to the middle of the field. It flicked on from the back post. And once again, Cooper Jennings comes up with the ball. He's going to send a pass out all the way to the right-hand side for Guy Ellis, who's just come on, as we mentioned, who will miscommunicate with his left winger, and St. Juice will win the ball on the left side.
Guy Ellis had a lot of time. He had 30 yards in front of him. I would have liked to see him take it up over midfield and then try and make that pass. I know he got a little excited, saw his forward cutting down the wing just a little bit, but that felt just a little too forced from Guy Ellis.
St. Juice with a beautiful turn on this left-hand side. He'll continue to run with the ball and play a through ball into Ethan Ballack, who will play it out to this left-hand side for Harrison Myring with a beautiful turn, and he'll win a corner for the Gamecocks.
Another good defensive stand there.
You mentioned the fans could get a prize if they score on these goal kicks, or on these corner kicks, excuse me. And they've had about 7, so these fans hoping for something to come out of these corner kicks that the Gamecocks have been able to win, especially on this left-hand side. It's been a very, very busy left-hand side.
These fans are definitely feeling pretty lucky because they keep getting these great opportunities. Let's see if it happens here.
In-swinger by Velasquez Lopez to the back post. It'll be too far.
Just too hard of a kick. No one's there.
Yes. Anyway, through ball to number 19. Oh, that's going to be a foul just outside the box for St. Just, who takes down number 19 for the USC Upstate, Ezra Hoffman. St. Just is going to receive a yellow card.
Wow, that's shocking. That's not what St. Just wanted to see. He knows he messed up, and he was shocked to see the yellow card there. That was very close to being inside the box and being a penalty kick for USC Upstate, but still a great chance.
It's going to go to VAR here, which until recently I didn't even know that we had, but it'll be reviewed. I think it was definitely outside the box. Junior St. Just, I'd like to see his heat map because he's been all across this back line and even flying up the wings, looking to get those crosses in for the Gamecocks that they've been so good on this season.
Yeah, just try to make too big of a play there. I know you're going for it. You're one-on-one. You're the guy to beat. If he beats you, he's one-on-one with the goalie. But now they have a set-up kick right outside of the box for Philip Versteer, and he's gonna have his first thing to do here tonight.
Halkett looking to take it. As they go to video review, I can see a case, maybe if it were in the box, for a red, especially Hoffman was through on goal, theoretically, if he were to get the ball. But I think it's nothing more than a yellow and a free kick just outside the D for USC Upstate.
Yeah, definitely aggressive. Definitely took him down, but he never really came from behind. They were neck and neck going after the ball. He just tried to take a swipe at the ball and took out his legs instead. So, like you mentioned, nothing more than a yellow, I would assume.
Another new face for USC Upstate on this field, on their left-hand side, excuse me. Shane Abrams, he's coming on for some of his first minutes of the game. Here's the decision from the ref. He comes back out. It is going to be a red.
Wow.
I see it pull out of his pocket. It'll be St. Just will have to come off. And you got to think this changes the whole entire game for the Spartans.
Yeah, that's huge. This is a big momentum killer for Carolina as well. St. Just, one of those big backs on that back line. So
fans kind of giving their opinion to the ref.
St. Just and the fans disagree with the men in purple tonight.
Duggan shooing him off the field kind of disrespectfully. I mean, he's already got a red.
maybe USC Upstate has to kind of get in Carolina's head here. Maybe that's their tactic now with 14 and a half minutes in the first. They haven't been able to produce much on the field. They're going to try and get in the mind of St. Just and other Carolina players.
St. Just not too happy with himself there. I mean, we don't have video review up here in the booth, but from what I saw, it looked to be nothing more than a yellow. But, I mean, they went to review, so they've got it right.
I think it was definitely yellow, but I am very shocked to see the upgrade to a red.
Especially the first card of the game.
For sure.
As Halkett will tee up this free kick. Kind of a longer run up. He'll try to beat the wall. Halkett's shot is on the ground and straight to Vestier for what seems to be his first save of the game. Kind of throwing out some theatrics here, staying on the ground for a few seconds.
Not sure if Halkett was trying to get a deflection there, but never really got off the ground, and he kicked it right at Vestier.
Just kind of miscued it. Vestier with his first bit of interaction with this game, basically.
His first save of the night.
Ball through. It'll be Myring who commits a foul on number 26 for this Upstate team. Guy Ellis, as we mentioned, just came on.
Fans starting to get a little restless.
Going after a header and just kind of went up, not too vertically, kind of into his guy. But play will be restarted quickly here for Upstate with Thomas Duggan, who plays in a ball to Palat and back to Duggan. Jacob Benz will send the ball across the back line, and it will end up with Elijah Jackson at left back. He'll play it back to Terlinda, excuse me. Back to Duggan on this right-hand side for Upstate. He'll look for a ball it'll be intercepted, but it will be another foul on this Gamecock squad. Foul on Hoffman.
This one, even the Carolina bench got up and started getting restless with the referee. It's been a rough stretch of calls here for Carolina.
Yes. I mean, first card of the game, red card. Things starting to get a little bit chippy. I feel like he could have let that one go, though.
And before that, it wasn't chippy at all. Definitely physical, but not chippy by any means. I think that's why Carolina's upset.
Ref coming off the pitch here to talk to Tony Annan, telling him to calm down because he's visibly upset. Outside of his touch box, he's telling him to go back inside of it. I mean, rightfully mad, though. I think it was kind of a dodgy call. I mean,
I think he's kind of saying it's been physical all game. If you're going to start calling it on us for every little thing, we'd like to see it go both ways. And obviously raising his voice just a little bit, showing some of his own theatrics there by taking a big old step back by the bench.
This free kick will just be in between the center circle and the D for USC Upstate with just under 13 minutes left in this first half. Dietrich will look to play a ball in to the box. Here he goes. Looped in towards the middle of the box. Header will be there for Hoffman, but Vestier is there again.
Perfect positioning from Vestier there. We talked about the first free kick they had. It went right to him. That one he actually had to move on, but it still looked like it went right to him because he was in the perfect position.
Vestier, as we mentioned, a huge part of this team. Hasn't had a lot to do this game, but as a freshman, he's looking to continue his good form in between the sticks and also looks for his first clean sheet of the season. Possession will lie on this right-hand side for Upstate. Played back to Terlinda on this left-hand side now, who will find Elijah Jackson. Elijah Jackson driving up the field, finding Duggan, who will turn and play number 10, Dietrich, who will play a ball up into the air, into the box, and Vestier, who we said wasn't really doing much this game, but with the man advantage going towards Upstate, has had a little bit more to do. A lot more openings for this USC Upstate side, with St. Just being sent off just a few moments ago. If you're just joining, Vestier will send a ball all the way up to the pitch, which will be flicked on by Myring to Burgess for his first touches of the game. Ballack will find. Ballack kind of miscued the pass, and it'll spray wide, looking for Jonah Bagar. Pass was behind him, and USC Upstate will look to find a quick throw with Palat, and Palat's ball will be taken away. Guy Ellis with a good touch off the chest and will look for a ball down the field. Adienza slips, but Hoffman's touch not too good. Velasquez Lopez with some trickery in the midfield will play it all the way back to Philippe Vestier, who will send it out to William Nilsson. who will look for a long ball to Ethan Ballack on this right-hand side with a lot of space. Myring making a run kind of to overlap him, and great tackle by Terlinda, who will send Abrams on his way on this left-hand side. Carolina doing a good job of defending with this man advantage going towards Upstate. Abrams will play a pass that will get intercepted by Burgess. Velasquez Lopez now with the ball. It's going to be a 2-on-4. He will send that ball out to Harrison Myring, waiting for some of his Gamecocks teammates to get higher up the pitch. Fake pass into actual pass to all the way back to William Nilsson. Revan Lowe now with some space in the midfield. He'll spray it back to Atienza, man from Brazil. Atienza holding the ball up nicely. We'll send it back all the way to Philippe Vestier. Vestier will hit the long ball, as Carolina's been known to do, but Myring will be offsides, and it will be collected by Jennings.
That gives Carolina a good opportunity to kind of catch their breath there. They've been on their heels the last 5-10 minutes with USC Upstate pouncing on offense. If you're a USC Upstate fan, you would have kind of liked to see them get at least one back there with all the good chances they had, but Carolina does a good job clearing their zone.
Jackson on the ball here for Upstate. Sends Burgess to the ground. And now Shane Abrams on this left-hand side there for USC Upstate. We'll send an overlapping pass to Jackson, who will get an early cross in, but it'll be deflected and roll all the way to Philippe Vestier. And he'll be on the ground for a couple seconds again, kind of trying to send this team into halftime with under 10 minutes to go in this first half. I'm sure these guys are tired of having to run around more, as we said, with them being a man down after that red card for St. Just.
He definitely takes his time getting back up, but I'm sure his teammates don't mind at all.
Myring chest down to Burgess, who will send Myring on this right wing through against Jackson. He's got no one. He'll send a shot across the 6, but no one is there, and it'll go out all the way on this right-hand side for USC Upstate's throw.
The first 30 minutes of this half, South Carolina, they had a lot of people in the box there. That time, that wasn't many people at all. Actually, nobody was there to help out Myring. Definitely seeing some fatigue out here at the end of the first half.
And that's what happens when you get a player sent off. It'll be Palat with the ball back to Dietrich, who will send in Abrams, but the pass will be too far for Abrams, and Burgess will collect in his own right corner. Vestier, back to Vestier, who will send it the length of the midfield, but it'll be won back by Dietrich. We'll send a ball out to this right side, intercepted by Bigar. Kind of poor touch in his own box, but it'll be sent out by Goldsworthy. We mentioned earlier in this broadcast, Austin Goldsworthy, the Sun Belt Conference Defensive Player of the Week. Can you talk about how important he is to this Gamecock squad?
Oh, he's very important. He's a great leader as well. Guys in the locker room just look up to him whenever they can, and they follow his leadership at practice. They follow him on the field. He's all over the place, too. He's not shy from the ball at all, whether that's offensively or defensively, we've seen tonight. And he's a very physical player as well. He's not afraid to get down and dirty.
Camden Kowalski will come on for the Gamecocks now as Ethan Ballack gets a rest, much-deserved rest, and it looks as if Jonah Bigar will step up into that midfield for the Gamecocks. Guy Ellis on the ball on the back line for USC Upstate. He'll send it across to Terlinda and out to Jackson once more to Terlinda. Guy Ellis looking to switch the play out to this right-hand side. It'll be back with Jackson on that left-hand side. We'll send it into Duggan. 1-2 with Duggan, back out to Jackson. Dietrich dispossessed here by Velasquez Lopez, who will send a ball out to this right-hand side. And two players sliding in there, and it'll come off of the Gamecocks, as that was kind of a dangerous slide for both of those players, but they've got to go as Cocky trips on the steps as he comes up to the press box. Kind of dances it off as he does. It'll be a throw for USC Upstate. Jackson in to Dietrich, who does like 5 touches in a row. It'll be taken away by Myring and then taken again once more by Dietrich. Dietrich will send a ball out, switching to Guy Ellis. Guy Ellis with a lot of space on this right-hand side as the Gamecocks have to shift. He'll send it into Halkett, excuse me. Back out to this left-hand side with Abrams. Abrams looking to take a few guys on with some trickery. Gets around Burgess. Is able to find Palat in the box. He's got 5 guys on him. He'll get a shot off, but it'll be blocked by Goldsworthy. Abrams back out to Halkett. Halkett will send a pass out to this right-hand side with Guy Ellis, who will send it right back to Halkett at the edge of the D. And he'll send it out wide to, once more, to Dietrich. And Dietrich back out to Guy Ellis on this right-hand side. He'll look to see if there's a cross available. He'll send it to the top of this. Cross comes in from Duggan, but it's booted out by Atienza.
Good job by Jonah Begar getting in front of that and making sure that didn't get all the way to Versteer. We've talked about how Versteer hasn't had much to do tonight other than the last 10 minutes or so, but that's a compliment to their defense because they're not allowing USC Upstate to get anywhere near the goal.
Abrams back to Jackson for Upstate with possession just past halfway. He'll send a through ball in that will be collected by Versteer. There he is again, as you mentioned. Both of these goalkeepers been able to really catch the ball in the first time. A bit unlucky from Jennings in the first half for that shot to come off of him right to Meyering, but they've been able to kind of get both hands on the ball, especially with these crosses that are coming in from both sides. It'll be Meyering on the ball, dispossessed, but it'll fall back to Velasquez Lopez, who unleashes a shot from about 20, 30 yards out, and it'll go over the goal, and Jennings will have a goal kick for this USC Upstate team.
Don't hate the idea. I'm always an advocate for a good shot, but you know that was the first time in the last 3 possessions you've had more than 2 to 3 players in the box with you. Might as well set something up and use these final 3:45 to go in the half.
Atienza with a ball. It'll be a through ball, but a little bit of a miscommunication. Meyering didn't run for that one. Going back to that shot by Velasquez Lopez, he's got to keep his head down there. Something that my dad would always tell me when I would sky shots in my games, but it's a useful tip if you're shooting.
Yeah, talking about those final couple minutes, 3.5 here to go. Last time South Carolina scored under 2 minutes ago, it was Asa Christ with 1:29 to go versus Old Dominion back in 2015.
Wow.
So it's been a while since.
That's a stat and a half.
It's a good stat to have. South Carolina has not been able to find the back of the net late in these halves. This is where you grind out those last couple minutes and make sure nothing happens on your end either.
Yeah. As Dietrich has the ball and will send it out wide to Elijah Jackson. Back to Dietrich at the circle, center circle. It'll be sent out wide to Duggan. Duggan sees a man and will send a ball through. It's going to be a beautiful touch by Palat, who has the ball. And it'll be taken away by Begar in the box and sent out. The ball will stay in play, actually, and it'll go all the way back to Benz.
It was really dangerous for the Gamecocks there. Versteer came out, but didn't realize his defenseman was going to play it, and then he kind of really got bullied off the ball. So that could have been catastrophic there in the final 2.5 minutes for South Carolina.
Palat lucky to get a few touches in the box there. As a defensive line, they can't let him have more than one. It'll be sent to Dietrich in his own half. We'll send it out to Duggan on this right-hand side. Hoffman calling for the ball, but won't get it. It'll be sent out to Guy Ellis, who looked to have been offside, but there is no call. Hoffman with a cross from this right-hand side. It'll be collected by Versteer for perhaps the 10th time on these crosses by USC Upstate. Austin, you mentioned not a lot coming on this offensive side for Carolina, especially since they've gone a man down. Versteer really coming into the game now.
Yeah, USC Upstate really taking advantage of that man down for Carolina. They're trying to get those extra bodies in the box, and they've really pushed forward. They were playing very far back in the first half of the half. They were trying to make sure that Carolina didn't get in behind them, but now that they're down 2, they're trying to get one back, hopefully before the end of the half, but not going to happen there as there's some miscommunication on the sideline.
Pass from Duggan is going to be too far for Guy Ellis, and it'll be a throw for Jonah Begar. Begar started off this game with a lot of touches, hasn't had any really meaningful touches in possession other than when they're on defense, and he's poked a couple out. It'll be Camden Kowalski for some of his first minutes this season with the throw. It'll be up to Meyering, but it'll be headed away and headed on by Jonah Begar, but that'll go all the way into the box, and Jennings is able to collect and start some possession for this USC Upstate Spartan team. Sends a long ball out looking for Shane Abrams, but it'll be cleared out by William Nilsson. The ball will go, well, the ball won't go out. It'll be collected by Elijah Jackson, who sends it back to Terlinda. Terlinda to Jacob Benz. Benz kind of driving, looking for another long ball. Long balls haven't been too popular or too successful for either of these teams, as 20 seconds left to go in the half. Jackson will send in a pass that will be elbowed by Palat.
That was a little close there, right at the top of the box. That could have been in it as well. Final 10 seconds ticking off here.
Yeah. Long ball sent in by Terlinda. Hoffman won't be able to get to it. Goldsworthy, excuse me, will kick it up into the air for the final seconds of this half. As we go into our break for halftime, Austin, what is it that this Upstate team has to do in order to come back?
Well, we mentioned it a couple times there in the first half. They've got to get bodies in the box, and they've got to get touches on the ball. We've mentioned it so many times already that they've tried to center it, and just nobody's there. Goldsworthy, anybody else on that defensive line is just there, or versus there will take 10, 15 seconds off the clock, and they don't mind draining it because they're up 2. They have no issue losing time here. USC Upstate just needs to make sure they get guys in the box and get shots on goal.
Harrison Myring, your goal scorer of the match with 2. We'll see you in about 15 minutes for coverage for the second half. Hello and welcome back to the second half of this game between the USC Gamecocks and USC Upstate, Battle of the USCs. The Gamecocks lead 2-0, courtesy of 2 goals by Harrison Myring, the captain. But also in that first half, probably the biggest part of that first half, really changed the game. Junior St. Juice being sent off.
Yeah, that definitely does not help the Gamecocks. That definitely does not help the Gamecocks by any means. They're going to be playing down a man now and have played down a man for the final 15, 20 minutes or so in that half. And we saw a drop-off entirely. The offensive production was not there after St. Juice went off. So USC Upstate tried to capitalize there at the end of the half. They're going to come out firing here in the first 5 minutes of the second half. And they need to, because the shots by half are not looking good. They are entirely skewed in favor of Carolina, 9-2. 5 of them coming off of corner kicks. 0 corner kicks for the Spartans.
Yeah, I mean, when Carolina had 11 men out on the pitch, very, very dominant, especially in possession. Saw a lot of chances come on this left-hand side with their left winger, Gabe Nickerson in the first half, and then Jonah Bigar at left back. But when St. Juice, who has been a very important player for this Gamecock squad this season, came off, you could feel a shift in energy in favor of USC Upstate as they were able to finally have some meaningful possession for themselves. But it kind of falls off their possession when they get into the final third, playing a lot of long balls, kind of copying South Carolina in doing so. Long balls not working out for either team.
Yeah, a lot of great possessions there from South Carolina in the first half where they were just controlling the ball. They just had it in their own zone. It really flipped at about the 15-minute mark when St. Juice went off, and that's when USC Upstate started attacking in Carolina's zone. But like you mentioned, the long balls are just not connecting. And if you're just joining us, we've already mentioned it in the first half a couple times. USC Upstate just doesn't have anyone in the box. They're not awaiting the ball, and they're waiting for the perfect bounce to go their way. They're not attacking the ball. They're not going to the ball, as my old high school coach used to say, go attack it. And they're not doing that right now, but I think we're going to see that a lot here in the second half because, like I said, the first 5 minutes make or break a game.
Absolutely.
And so USC Upstate's going to at least try and cut that lead in half.
Yeah, going back to what you said about not really having anybody in the box, it seems as though if this Upstate team is – everyone's looking to play that ball in, but no one's ready for it. I mean, there's been few, maybe less than 5 touches that they've been able to have in USC's box, Carolina's box, excuse me. Yeah, but, I mean, clean sheet so far, first one of the season, if they're able to hold this up. That's got to be a lot to say about Andrew Goldsworthy.
Yes, Goldsworthy's been playing phenomenally. Versteer's been in the right place at the right time. And another player on the other side of the ball who's been in the right place at the right time is Myring. He's been having a great night. You mentioned his 2 goals. He is a firecracker on offense. Has had 2 campfires built both times. He's been in the right place at the right time, cleaning up on the rebounds.
Absolutely. His first goal coming off of, I think, a save from one of his own shots and coming back out right to him. His second one coming off the post after a Revelin Laurier shot. He's been in the right place at the right time. We mentioned in the first half how he's been a fox in the box for this Carolina team as Sandstorm starts to go in the background. But absolutely, captain of this team, leads them in goal involvement, specifically goals. We mentioned kind of that kind of friendly competition between him and Ethan Ballack. Both been very big players for them this season. But I want to go back to Andrew Goldsworthy. As we mentioned in the first part of the broadcast, Sun Belt Conference Defensive Player of the Week, getting his first goal involvement of his career last week on an assist to Myring against Belmont.
Yeah, and it's absolutely deserved that he got that award and recognition because he is a firecracker on the defensive side. It's not the same definition as being a firecracker on offense because he's physical. He doesn't lunge at the ball. He doesn't step in front of it when he shouldn't. He's content. He is disciplined where he's at, and he plays the right positioning. Doesn't allow anybody to get around him. And we've seen that a couple times here tonight, Zander, that he has not let his man behind him. He's kept everything in front of him, not letting USC Upstate get into the box and make those touches that they desperately need.
Yeah, I mean, in a conference like the Sun Belt where teams are so stacked, we see teams like West Virginia, Marshall, Georgia State, all teams that are ranked or could very well be ranked. For him to stand out so much, that's an incredible feat for him.
Absolutely. We want to congratulate him from Student Gamecock Television. Thank you guys for joining us here tonight My name is Austin McConnell alongside Zander Collins. Second half underway. Zander, I'll let you take that one away.
Some changes here for the Gamecocks. It looks as if Bryce Griffith has come in for this Gamecock squad. Kind of a different dynamic when he's in as opposed to Myring. Griffith kind of coming back as a false 9, and Myring looking to break lines, kind of be a target man. We saw it in Clemson when they switched some of these players up, the different dynamic that they were able to come.
Yeah, I think Tony Annan has a different game strategy here. They got out to a 2-goal lead there in the first half. Now they're going to try and just hold on to that lead and make sure USC Upstate, as they were attacking there at the end of the first half, they're going to make sure that nothing gets in the back of the net of Versteer here.
We're just trying to play a header through to Griffiths, but it'll go out for another throw. Another player coming on for the Gamecocks is number 22, Ted Cargill. Looking to make some meaningful minutes out of his performance tonight. Throw down the line to Griffiths at the right corner flag. He'll take a nice touch and turn, and his pass will be deflected, but it'll come right back to him, and he'll play a dangerous ball down to Palat that is broken up twice now by William Nilsson, but possession lies with USC Upstate as Guy Ellis will have possession on their right-hand side. In this half, USC Upstate going from right to left, and the Gamecocks going left to right. If you're just joining us, the second half is just now underway. About a minute gone from this second half. Elijah Jackson on the left-hand side for Upstate. We'll play it back to Terlinda and all the way back to their goalkeeper, who's had a very good game so far, Cooper Jennings. Back out to Guy Ellis, who will spray a long ball up right to the head of William Nilsson. Cargill will break up some play in midfield, but Halkett will play a ball out to the right-hand side. Early cross comes in, no one there. We talk about Andrew Goldsworthy. He's already got a deflection out in the second half. Nilsson will play it out to Jonah Bigar, who is unable to get past the defenders, and it will come off of him for a throw for USC Upstate.
Different half, same narrative for USC Upstate, nobody in the box, and that's exactly what I was talking about. They got to have 2 or 3 guys there instead of the one guy on the other side of the box waiting for the perfect bounce. It's not getting past Goldsworthy.
Poor touch by Duggan, and it'll be Griffith trying to come away with the ball. He'll hold possession up, as I said, he's so good at as sort of a false 9 striker. Not sure what Cam Kowalski was doing there. That long ball straight to the back line. It'll be Jacob Benz with possession out to Terlinda and back to Benz.
Yeah, not sure if there were a couple guys out of position and they were just trying to reset defensively, but he kind of just gave that right to USC Upstate's defense back.
On this left-hand side, it'll be Jackson. Jackson will send a long ball in to Panat, but it'll be collected by Versteer, who we mentioned had a lot more to do in the second half of that first half, specifically with Junior St. Just being sent off. I keep wanting to say Benjamin St. Just, but that's a cornerback for the Washington Commanders.
It's a different kind of football, Zander.
Yeah. Terrible football at that if you are a Commanders fan.
Trust me, I'm a Panthers fan. We know what terrible football is.
Revan Lomorier released on this left-hand side will send in a early kind of through ball to Bryce Griffiths, but
it's going to be offsides.
It'll be offside. I thought they were calling a foul, but I thought they were play advantage there. But makes sense as he was offside. The linesman's flag went up. Quick free kick back to Jennings, who will kind of just tap it out in the direction of Terlinda, who will send it out to Elijah Jackson on this left-hand side. To Abrams, back to Jackson, who will be forced to send a ball back all the way, kind of switch to the other side of their defense for Jacob Benz, and back out to Terlinda, who's been probably their best defender in the first half, getting some important blocks on crosses, as Cam Kowalski will send that pass out for a throw-in that Jackson will take quickly to Dietrich. Dietrich with some time in the midfield will send it back to Jacob Benz, who's been also a pretty solid center back for them tonight. Long ball towards Abrams will be headed out by Jack Burgess and collected by Dietrich, who looks to take on Burgess on this left-hand side, and will do, and will get around him, get a cross with his left foot that will be deflected and fall to the feet of Ted Cargill, who's able to send it to Burgess, who has now sent up a pass for Griffith, who has done very well to turn, kind of a half turn with a guy on his back. As we mentioned, he's been a pretty effective false 9 for South Carolina. He'll win a foul. Austin, what I'm noticing here is USC Upstate will have maybe 3 or 4 passes in a row that will be pretty good, and they'll keep possession, but as soon as it gets to this left-hand side over here towards us by the booth, they'll just boot it up the field.
Yeah, they try to play it ahead, and usually it's too long, or like you saw from Kowalski or Goldsworthy just a few minutes ago, they are not letting that get past them. They easily play it out. They direct it in the direction they need to go. USC Upstate needs a little more definition on offense. They need a little bit more structure instead of
Absolutely.
just playing these long balls that have not worked all game.
Goldsworthy trying to get Upstate out of position with a fake free kick. He'll send it now over to the left side of their defense with William Nilsson, who's been all over the pitch in that back line today. Velasquez Lopez doing some turns, some shifts, some drops of the shoulder. Play it back to Nilsson, who will send it all the way back to Philippe Vestier, who will boot it in the direction of Velasquez Lopez, but it'll be won in the air by Ezra Hoffman. Quick little flick there that will fall to Revenlo Morier as the ball will come off of USC Upstate defender there, and he'll win his side a throw. USC, South Carolina, that is USC, kind of outnumbering in terms of set pieces, corners, throw-ins to this USC Upstate side, but nothing come from it yet.
Yeah, we've seen the last couple years be actually pretty decent matchups between these two squads. Obviously, South Carolina owns the all-time series history record, but this has been a statistical advantage for South Carolina here tonight. They have led in every stat. USC Upstate has just been playing from behind, both on the field and on the score sheet.
Halkett deep from his own territory will send a pass out to the right, and it'll be played in for Duggan. Duggan looking to slip in Abrams, but it'll be an important touch out by Kowalski that will fall to Griffiths in the center circle. His layoff for Velasquez Lopez goes straight to the defender, and it'll be back to Cooper Jennings, who will send it way out. Touch for Hoffman on this right-hand side. Brave kind of to go for that header. And it'll be a foul given to the Gamecocks as William Nilsson is fouled in the air.
Will Nilsson was kind of hit from behind there. They both awkwardly kind of went up for the ball. Looked like he was grabbing his left leg.
Yeah.
Just taking his time getting up here, making sure he's not too badly injured. He looks fine. He's up and he's moving around.
Yeah, ref had some questionable calls in that first half. I mean, they did go to review for that red card. But so far, starting this one out pretty well.
Yeah, and I know we're all the way up here, but that was we disagreed on that red card. Tony Annan also did as well, but he's probably a little bit biased.
Bigar trying to find Burgess in the box on that free kick. It'll come out to Shane Abrams, who will send it to Halkett. When the pass intercepted by Velasquez Lopez, has some room to work with. We'll send it back to Velasquez Lopez, who will fire a shot, and it will go into the net. Velasquez Lopez continues his goal-scoring streak, for this Gamecock side as he scored in their last win, the winner against Belmont.
What a beautiful goal there. Just the give and go by Velasquez Lopez, and he gave it up to his man in the center of the field, and then no one picked him up. They give it right back to him, and boom goes the dynamite. It's in the back of the net.
He passes to the man, and boom goes the dynamite. Yes, a lethal 1-2 between Jack Burgess and Velasquez Lopez. I mean, once that pass went into Burgess, and he kind of just set it up for Velasquez Lopez to just take a touch and unleash that shot. The defense kind of just turned off after that first initial touch with that 1-2. And Velasquez Lopez was able to pounce as he's so good at doing.
Yeah, South Carolina gets that much-needed insurance goal up 3-0. Now they can kind of play, disciplined and just kind of sound on defense and offense. They don't have to force anything here. They can control the ball, control possession, and stay in front of USC Upstate.
Yeah, 38 minutes to go in the second half. As the crowd goes wild for this goal, as they put it on the Jumbotron at the lovely Bowling family scoreboard. Halkett will send it out to Duggan, and Duggan will send it out to this right-hand side, and it will continue with Hoffman looking to get a cross in, but William Nilsson will have an important challenge there to send it out close to the corner flag on that right-hand side for USC Upstate. Quick throw. Cross comes in. It's going to go over Palat and out to Abrams in between the D and the center circle. Out to Jackson. What can Jackson do? Jackson, nice little cut inside, will will send in a ball to the back post, and it'll be too far for anyone as it'll go out for a goal kick for the USC Gamecocks.
We talked about how important those first 5 minutes was and how it can make or break a whole game even. And
Yeah.
so South Carolina getting that third goal, making it a 3-0 versus a 2-0 game, just 6.5 minutes into the half is very, very different than being up 2-0. So now they can control the game, and Carolina comes out of the locker room with a much-needed attack early on.
Steer looking long to Griffiths, who's holding play up as he gets a turn off of his defender, but Terlinda there to head it out of any danger for Upstate.
Yeah, so now we're seeing South Carolina push a lot more people up. We didn't see that there when they were a little bit more fatigued at the end of the first half.
Absolutely.
A lot more people at the top of the box and in the USC Upstate side of the field now.
Some fresh legs as a kind of a weird bounce finds Velasquez Lopez with the ball on this left-hand side, who will try to win a foul, but it's kept in by number 0 Cooper Jennings for Upstate, who's been so important in between the sticks for them. I mean, the scoreline might be 3-0, but he's kept them in this game a lot longer than they should have been in it.
Yeah, he took a shot there in the first half, was a little slow to get up. I think he got the wind knocked out of him, but he is using every inch of his body to make sure that he can do everything he can for USC Upstate to stay in this game. And like you mentioned, he's done a great job. And we like to talk about depth a lot, whether that's on camera or off camera. We talk about it over the weekend. And so here's a chance for USC Upstate.
For Hoffman, he'll kind of body William Nilsson into conceding a corner, for which seems to be their first corner of the game.
First corner kick of the game for USC Upstate. But like I mentioned, South Carolina with the depth to use those fresh legs. We saw the fatigue there in the first half. Now they come out and they get a goal with some extra help on offense. It's big. It goes a long way.
Dietrich on this set piece, right foot looking to have an in-swinger. As cross goes in and headed away, it's going to be, I guess, a handball on USC Upstate, and it will be a free kick for South Carolina.
Yeah, that might have been USC Upstate's best chance to get a long ball where there's more than one person in the box, and they still didn't really get anything but a hand on it. They got the wrong body part. So just cleaning that up in the box, I think, has been USC Upstate's kryptonite this year because they are not able to get shots on goal.
Yeah, Austin, I was just about to say what seems to have been the most people in the box at any time in this game for USC Upstate. Nothing comes of it, though. Ted Cargill will try to get a nice little turn on Dietrich there. Dietrich will foul, and it'll be a free kick closer to this right-hand side in between the center circle and the D for the Gamecocks. Taking this free kick is that important player we talked about just before the second half started, Andrew Goldsworthy. He'll send it out to William Nilsson, who's been all over this back line. He'll send a long ball into Jack Burgess, but it'll go straight through this center back pairing of Terlinda and Benz and will be collected by Cooper Jennings. Cooper Jennings will roll the ball out to his right back, and it'll be sent into Halkett in the middle and right back out to Elijah Jackson, who's had a lot of possession on this left-hand side this game. Abrams trying to turn, but will be dispossessed, and the ball will go back to Jackson. Back to Terlinda on this left-hand side, and we'll send it out of Cooper Jennings' way, but he'll come to meet it and send a long ball down the field looking for Paulette, but it will come off of Camden Kowalski, kind of unfortunately, and will be a throw. Elijah Jackson finding Dietrich in the midfield, who will look to find him again. Jackson will send a ball into the top of the box, and Palat will have time to turn, but kind of takes too much of a heavy touch, and Velasquez Lopez is able to deal with it. Cargill sending the ball up to Bryce Griffith, and being muscled off the ball is Griffith by Terlinda. We mentioned the different dynamic between the two strikers that have had the most minutes for the Gamecocks this season, between Bryce Griffith and Harrison Meyering. You got to think that they bring on Griffith just because he's a little bit better at this interplay, able to muscle people off the ball and kind of have his back towards goal, being able to, as he does here, but unfortunately the ball goes out of play for him.
Yeah, we saw it right there. You got double teamed actually because of how much of a threat he is offensively and physically. But just a bad touch there. Not a bad touch, just got off his foot a little bit too aggressively.
You got to think Tony Annan's changing the gameplay up here just because of the number disadvantage for the Gamecocks. Maybe bringing in a striker that plays more as a false 9 is able to unlock a little bit more and has been, as we saw that first goal coming just a few moments ago.
Yeah, we saw a lot of these formations, like you mentioned, coming from the Clemson game, where they drew against the #1 team in the country. And they're using it again here tonight, and it's worked out well for them. So I think they're really trying to hone in on this and make sure this is perfect before they get into Sun Belt Conference play.
Halkett with some time in the midfield, just past the center circle, will send it out wide to Elijah Jackson. And back to Halkett, who is their captain, number 6. And he'll send it all the way back to Jakob Benz, and he'll send it across the back line to his center back partner, Terlinda, and back out to Elijah Jackson, who will send the ball to Halkin. And ball through to Hoffman, but Hoffman will foul Kowalski on the way to try to grab that one.
That was a hard foul.
Yeah, that's kind of a push in the back there.
Yeah, that was, he saw the Garnet number 8 there, and his eyes lit up. I'm a little shocked the ref didn't go over there and even talk to him. St. Juice kind of got the short end of the stick down here about midway through the first half. And I think that's what Tony Annan was mad about in the first half. He seems to be fine here up 3-0. But
yeah, first half, Tony Annan struggling to stay in his box, or his touchline, excuse me. The ref having to come over to talk to him earlier in that first half. But for now, it'll be Vestier, the freshman from Denmark, on this free kick from his own corner area. We'll send it down the field and looks for Cargill, who will miss the header on, but it'll come back out to Kowalski, who heads it to Bryce Griffith, but unfortunately that touch will come off of his arm. And Austin, as you know, you can't use your arm in soccer.
It's called football for a reason. Griffith again was getting physical, backing down his defender. Just another unfortunate bounce. Another unfortunate bounce is what I'm trying to say. He's been snake bitten a little bit here tonight in this second half.
Terlinda send the ball across just outside the center circle to Jakob Benz. Dietrich will now take possession in the midfield. We'll send a ball on this right-hand side, trying to find Hoffman, but it'll be dealt with by the South Carolina defense. Velasquez Lopez dispossessed, and that through ball pass will be deflected by Jonah Bigar. It'll be another throw for this USC Upstate side. Dietrich receives the ball off the quick throw, looks to switch the play to Elijah Jackson, who gets a shot off and blocked importantly by Goldsworthy. I think Vestier had it covered, but still, it's a great way for him to throw his body out and just ensure that ball doesn't get anywhere near Vestier.
Yeah, and that kind of took the air out of me there for a minute. From our angle, it looked like that was going right off Goldsworthy into our own net. So that could have been a little disastrous, but Goldsworthy made sure he got enough height and power on it to get it over the goal and out of play for the second corner kick of the game for USC Upstate.
Dietrich with the in-swinger, and it'll be headed away by Jonah Bigar, who's been so good. And it will come back out to Shane Abrams, who will play Dietrich on this left wing. We'll try to a Travella cross, but it'll be dealt with well by Ted Cargill. Velasquez Lopez looking to send Bryce Griffiths through. And a very, very important tackle by Guy Ellis there.
Yeah, Guy Ellis really probably just saved another goal for USC Upstate. Oh my goodness.
It's confusing, isn't it?
It's a lot when you hear USC all the time. But another great, like I said, Guy Ellis making a phenomenal play.
The real
there.
USC, by the way.
The real USC.
Those Trojans don't have anything on us. I mean, well, I'll just stop talking. Camden Kowalski with the throw, and it'll be touched out by Halkett, and it'll be another throw on this right-hand side, just in line with the box here for Camden Kowalski. Maybe try to look into the box on this one. Kowalski not had a lot of minutes this season, but it's proving why he should probably get some more so far in the second half. Ted Cargill holding off the defender, that is Dietrich, trying to win another throw. Jack Burgess will find Revan Lamourier. Lamourier will take a push in the back, and it will be the first card for this USC Upstate side. As we mentioned earlier, it kind of got a little bit chippy towards the end of that, especially after the red card. And Ezra Hoffman will enter the book
We saw it down in the bottom left of our screen on the corner. Bird just got hit from behind, and there was no call. You got to think that that was kind of their one warning for the half.
Absolutely.
Referee David Erbacher not letting that one slide.
Erbacher keeping a pretty clean game so far. Velasquez Lopez on this free kick will take his time, survey his options. Zach Bird just made a run kind of unfollowed on this right-hand side, but Velasquez Lopez will send the ball in, and it'll be collected by the goalkeeper, who is Cooper Jennings. We said his name a lot tonight. Despite the scoreline, it's been playing pretty well in between the sticks for Upstate. Headed down by Tarlinda, who finds Duggan, and his pass will be too far for Elijah Jackson, who's been pretty good for this USC Upstate side. Been a big, huge part of their possession that they've been able to have, especially on this side closest to us, their left-hand side.
Yeah, couple substitutions here. Zen and Sir Magic, number 99 coming in for USC Upstate, and number 17, Anthony Cox, have made an appearance in all 5 games for USC Upstate this year.
Yeah, Sarah Magic, a huge part of what USC Upstate's trying to achieve here. 2 goals on the season, opened their scoring in their game last week. Not quite the result they were looking for, 5-2 against Liberty, but he did open the scoring, if that counts for anything.
And it definitely does. I mean, not that weekend, but when you get a big-time goal, it really does something for a team. Momentum is a very big factor.
Griffith unable to get that cross away there, and it'll be a goal kick. Played quickly by Jennings out to Jakob Benz on this Upstate side. Benz will send it out wide to Guy Ellis, who's also been a pretty good possession thus far in this game when they've been able to hold it for a few more passes. But Duggan will find Jackson on this left-hand side in their half space, kind of send a ball to the back post, looking for Sarah Magic, but once again it's dealt with by Philip Bastier, the Great Dane. He's from Denmark, freshman.
Yeah, Velasquez Lopez giving him a pat on the back. That was a very big-time play.
Deflected pass here as Sarah Magic is in. He gets a shot away, and big save by Bastier. He's able to keep it in bounds, too, and catch it. Looked like Sarah Magic was opening up his body to try to find that far corner, but kind of similar to what Kylian Mbappe does is he'll open up his body and still fire it near post, but Bastier does really well to get a big hand on that, and it'll pop up in the air, and he's able to grab it.
What a great show of athleticism there as well, because he had to dive to his left to make the save. It bounced off his leg, and he pops back up immediately and grabs it out of air before there's any chance for a rebound.
Griffith's trying to hold play up off of this long ball. It'll fall to Revan Lemorier, who finds Jonah Bigar on this left-hand side. Kind of miscommunicates a pass, and it's going to be Shane Abrams, who is almost able to get the ball, but not if William Nilsson has anything to say about it, and he does. Fouled in the process. On that shot for Sarah Magic, it seemed as though there was like kind of a miscommunication between Camden Kowalski and whoever he was trying to find a pass to. Kind of deflected off of someone straight into the feet of Sarah Magic, who was able to take a few touches and then unleash a shot. But as we said, Bastier motivated to keep his first clean sheet of the season and does so thus far in this game.
Yeah, they're looking for their first shutout at home since 2023, October 7th against Old Dominion. They won 1-0. He's now coming off the bench, getting a big standing O is goal scorer Alejandro Velasquez Lopez.
And you spoke about the depth of this team. Oncoming is Ethan Ballack, who's perhaps been one of the most important players for them, just behind Harrison Meyering in the goal-scoring category for this team. When you can bring on a player like Ethan Ballack, that says a lot about your depth, especially in a conference like this. Ooh, beautiful flick on for Jonah Bigar on this left-hand side by Ballack, who's just come on. Tries an early cross, but it'll be deflected, and it'll go out for another Gamecocks corner. So we have about 24 minutes left in the second half. I want to remind you that the Gamecocks are going left to right, and USC Upstate going right to left.
Taking their time setting this one up.
Yeah.
No
Ballack might be
rush.
fresh legs, but he's trying to get this game over with. Kind of just walking lackadaisical over to this left-hand corner of their squad. Far corner for us.
You mentioned
Ballack with an in-swinger. A little bit too low, and Sarah Magic will head it out. to not as far as Revenlo Morier, who will send another cross out from about midfield. Goldsworthy will get ahead to it, but it'll be collected in possession by Dietrich, who is then dispossessed, but then gains possession back. His pass will come out to the right wing to Shane Abrams, who finds Sarah Magic with kind of a Travella pass that is intercepted by Camden Kowalski. Straight to Halleck, though. Back in possession is Elijah Jackson for the Spartans, who will send it out to 17, who is a new player on the pitch for them.
And USC Upstate
Anthony Cox.
still playing that long ball game, but they have now 4 or 5 guys on the attacking side for the Spartans. Definitely not something we have seen in the first half. This is desperation mode now with 22 minutes to go here in the second half.
Dietrich on the ball in midfield will send a ball across the field, but is intercepted by Jack Burgess, who sends in Bryce Griffith, who has some space to work with. Speeding past the defender, he'll send Burgess on the overlap. No one in the box. He'll find Bryce Griffiths on the cutback. Takes a touch, and before he can get a shot off, that is importantly dealt with by Elijah Jackson, who we've said his name a lot tonight.
Big play by Jackson there, staying right in front of him, staying disciplined, not lunging after anybody, like we've talked about how Goldsworthy does such a great job of. Jackson making his case for a player of the week in his own respective conference.
Big South.
The Big South.
As we mentioned at the beginning of this very broadcast, kind of a disappointing season for USC Upstate thus far. 1-4, 6th in the Big South Conference, looking for a result tonight that seems a little bit out of reach right now with a 3-0 deficit.
Yeah, and they haven't looked terrible tonight either. I think they're really going to do a lot better. I think they're going to get the ball rolling when they get into Big South play. They play a lot of big-time out-of-conference opponents, a couple of those being some common opponents for South Carolina. East Tennessee State coming up on Sunday for South Carolina, an exhibition match against College of Charleston, where USC Upstate lost 5-1, and then a future opponent in the SBC, the Sun Belt, is Coastal Carolina, where that was a 2-1 loss from USC Upstate.
Yes, absolutely. As we return to play here, there'll be a throw-in on the right-hand side of USC Upstate squad. Can't exactly see who's throwing it in, but it will come into Shane Abrams, who's had a lot of success in some space on both sides as a winger for the Spartans.
And South Carolina has done a good job of pressing Abrams because he has shown that he has a lot of speed, and if you give him any room to work with, he's going to make you pay.
On the ball now is Benz, who will try to send Austin Cox through. That ball will go out just a few feet away from South Carolina's right corner. And it'll be Kowalski with a throw. You mentioned some of their big-time opponents, especially from a smaller conference in the Big South. Their upcoming games against Georgia State, North Florida, Winthrop, Wofford, and Longwood. 3 of those being Big South play. Georgia State, of course, in the Sun Belt with South Carolina. So it's not like they're playing smaller teams, especially coming up.
No, they are definitely not, and that's what I was saying. USC Upstate is 1-4 on paper, but if you watch their film, if you watch the games they've played, and if you watch tonight, they're playing very well against these bigger teams and have a history of upsetting these bigger teams as well. So USC Upstate doing a great job. Carolina just having a great start to the season, and this is just another chapter in that book.
Ted Cargill will send a pass out to Jack Burgess on the right wing. His touch will be deflected all the way back out to Camden Kowalski. Will send a long ball that, as we mentioned, have not really been able to connect thus far this game. And the ball will be sent into the fans. It'll be a throw-in for the Gamecocks. And back up for the throw-in is Camden Kowalski, who I mentioned hasn't had a lot of minutes thus far this season, but is proving why he should have some more time on this right-hand side of the defense. And cross from Griffiths will be deflected out of play for another Gamecocks corner.
Yeah, Griffith hasn't had the right touches here tonight. He's been kind of getting double teamed because they know how dangerous he is. I think he's going to be a really big factor towards the end of the season for South Carolina, whether there's any injuries or they just need a big-time goal in late conference play. I think Griffith is going to be the guy they look for.
Ballack with an in-swinger. Coming out to the top of the box for Ted Cargill, who will release a cross comes in. and it is put away by who I just was speaking about, Camden Kowalski. Off the corner, the ball comes to Ted Cargill at the top of the box. He sends in a cross, and it's flicked on just before it can get to Vistier by Camden Kowalski, who I mentioned has been such a good player in this game for them.
What a great job by Kowalski getting a deflection in front. It looked like Jennings was going to be making another save, and then Kowalski out of nowhere gets a header on it, gets it deflected, and 4-0 is your score as the whole bench came out to celebrate with Kowalski.
Yes, this game's starting to become out of reach for USC Upstate with just under 19 minutes left on this clock here at Stone Stadium. Goals coming all over the pitch. I mean, we've had a goal from a defender, a goal from a midfielder, and, of course, Harrison Meyering, who's yet to re-enter the pitch, had 2 in that first half as a forward. USC Upstate looking like they're just going to try to run out the rest of this clock because this is becoming more like a basketball score than a soccer score. Long ball to Abrams will go out for a South Carolina goal kick.
And South Carolina's been in the right place at the right time tonight, 2 of those being Meyering, like we have talked about in the first half. But we've seen in the second half how they can score from anywhere. That one was from a long-range shot. It was just a bang-bang in front. And South Carolina doing a great job of finding different ways to score. And if you can produce this much offense, it's going to be so beneficial for you later in the season.
A big goal for both Ted Cargill and Camden Kowalski as they will get their first goal involvements of the season. Assist from Cargill all the way into the header, which was the goal for Camden Kowalski. Ballack will be called for a foul here as he got to the ball a little bit too late, and there will be a free kick for USC Upstate just at the midfield line here on their right-hand side. Will be taken by Guy Ellis, who has been playing as their right back. He will send it across the center circle to Terlinda, to Jackson, who will find Harlech in the midfield and will send it back out to Jakob Benz, their other center back. Benz will send it out wide to number 8, who is Thomas Herzog, coming on for his first minutes of the game. It'll be a throw off of a deflection for the for USC Upstate, excuse me. Herzog on the ball now. Nice little drop of the shoulder. Is able to turn and find Halleck in midfield. And now on this left-hand side, a nice ball put in by Jackson for Cox, who sends a ball across the 6 and is deflected out by, it's going to be a goal kick. So they did get a touch to it on that cross. It just happened to not be even on frame. I think if he had gotten it towards the goal, I don't think Vistier would have been able to stop it. But you never know. I mean, Vistier's had a great game, had a wonderful save on a Sarah Magic shot earlier in the game after he was sent through off of a deflected pass.
We've talked about his athleticism. He's very light on his feet. He's very quick, can change direction like a deer. It's very quick, not in headlights, in the dark woods, because he's just so quick at moving side to side and such a great goalkeeper from Denmark.
Burgess header on to Bryce Griffiths, and Carolina will retain possession through Ted Cargill, the man who's got the assist on the night, and sends it back to who he assisted, Camden Kowalski. Steer kind of out of his own box, has to send it up the line, and nice little flick pass from Ethan Ballack, and now Burgess will be sending a through ball that will not quite make it to Griffith. And I'm interested to see the ruling here. It'll be a goal kick after Burgess kicked the ball through the legs of the defender all the way out off of the pitch. And like I said, it'll be a goal kick that is taken quickly by Cooper Jennings out to his right center back. That is Jakob Benz. There's Herzog looking for a long ball all the way up to Braden Cobb. But as we've said many times in this game, Austin, the long ball is not really doing it for either team. Both goalkeepers been able to get both sets of their gloves on the ball before anybody's been able to get to it.
No, we saw last time USC Upstate was down in the Carolina zone. They actually got a touch, just wasn't on target. But a little too late for USC Upstate. South Carolina kind of had one of their own on that goal from Kowalski. He was able to get a touch, and you see what happens when the ball gets centered and you get a bang-bang play in front, you get the deflection. Something's bound to happen, and as long as you get it on goal, you've got a better chance of scoring than just putting it right in the goalkeeper's chest.
Yeah. Possession lies with Cargill, who does a nice little skill, but it's going to be too large of a touch, and it will fall to Jackson, who will send the ball out looking for Cox on this left-hand side. As we said on these throw-ins and set pieces, South Carolina taking their time, letting the clock kind of roll. I mean, because this game is pretty much wrapped up unless the Spartans can take advantage of their man advantage. But looking to come on for the Gamecocks is number 18, Alfie Hughes, who is a very, very, very experienced player. Played for Man United's academy and transferred recently from Boston College. But yeah, he's a very important player, and off comes Bryce Griffiths. Number 11 will also come on. That is, Ronnie McGrath. And also coming on is Kieran Karp.
Yeah, there's actually quite a few guys on this team, this South Carolina team, that are from Boston College. Talked about Jack Burgess earlier, Alfie Hughes, and then also Ted Cargill, who has that assist tonight. They're all from Boston College, and a couple of them from England, Hughes and...
Yeah, Alfie Hughes played for a small team academy, Manchester United. I'm not sure if anybody's heard of it. They're not very relevant team anymore. As Ronnie McGrath will dribble that ball out of play, kind of toys with the defender after it's gone out of play. But it'll be a throw here for Elijah Jackson. He'll throw it back just outside the box to Terlinda, and he'll find his goalkeeper, Jennings. Jennings will play that ball up to Herzog on this right side, who will send it to Shane Abrams, who, as I mentioned, has been a very fast guy on both wings tonight for Upstate, but nothing really coming on this offensive side for this team tonight.
Yeah, we talked about the depth and the future of South Carolina soccer. They're a young team. They have more freshmen than they do anybody else. They have 8 freshmen, 7 sophomores. That's a lot of underclassmen who can show that they can score and produce on offense. So I think that's been kind of Carolina's Achilles heel in past seasons under Tony Annan.
As that pass is sent out by Nilsson.
He hasn't been able to find the back of the net as often as they would like, but they've done quite a good job doing so this year with 7-1 victories, 4-0 temporary leads, and scoring multiple goals against #1 teams in the country. So great job by South Carolina and Tony Annan turning this thing around this year.
Absolutely.
And in his 3rd year, and a young coaching staff. So a lot of questions left unanswered still going into the season before getting into Sun Belt play, but still undefeated. 2-0-2 for South Carolina.
Carson Hickox will come on for Guy Ellis, who came on for him earlier in the game and put in a good shift. Just under 12 minutes to go here at Stone Stadium as Ethan Ballack trying to win possession in his opponent's final third. But possession will lie with USC Upstate as Halkett will send it back to his center back and back out to his left back in Jackson. On the ball now is Herzog. Has a little bit of space. See what he can do with it. He'll send a pass out to Halkett. On this right-hand side, a cross will come in too low. Flicked on by Shane Abrams kind of fancily, but not everybody was paying attention, so that chance for Sarah Magic will be gone. On the ball now is Terlinda. And Jackson, back to Terlinda. On this right-hand side, Halkett will retain possession as Hickox, the captain, as we mentioned earlier, will send the ball back out to Herzog. Herzog will send a ball through that will get through everyone except for Versteer, who will kind of waste time with his feet and then pick it up with his hands. 10 minutes to go in this half. De La Garcia looking to come on for the Gamecocks, as there's no foul call there, as Ballot kind of playing this false 9 role now fell to the ground off that long ball. But here with the ball is Benz. Halkett now with the ball just past the center circle. He'll send it out wide to Captain Hickox, who will send a through ball into Shane Abrams. Kind of gives possession away to Alfie Hughes, as he didn't have much more room to run as he was near the corner flag. Bigar will send a looping pass up over to, looks to be Nilsson. Excuse me, it took me a moment to find who that was, because Nilsson, of course, a defender who's been all across the back line, but in a more advanced position there. Be a throw for the Gamecocks, and it'll be Ethan Ballot coming off once again for Valentino De La Garcia, number 20, looking to make an impact late in this game, in a game that Austin is all but wrapped up.
Yeah, South Carolina, not to put that announcer jinx on it with 9.5 minutes to go. They're looking for that 173rd shutout here at Stone Stadium, but they've just played so sound defensively here tonight. USC Upstate has had no opportunity, and we talked about their miscues on offense, but South Carolina doing a great job defensively.
Jackson finding a nice pass to break the lines to Sarah Magic, who will have it taken away with a beautiful tackle from Kieran Karp. And Jackson will have possession and find Cox on this left wing for USC Upstate, as that tackle fell all the way back to their back line earlier. It'll be sent to Terlinda, who will send it across the back. And it'll be intercepted by De La Garcia. His touch, unfortunately, too heavy, and will fall right to Benz. Jackson looking to switch play, and does so effectively to their captain Hickox.
USC really just trying to flip the sides of the field here, see what they can get open, see if they can catch Carolina sleeping late in the game.
Well, that's what happens when they're up a man. You wouldn't know it so far. Cross comes in and deflected very nicely by William Nilsson, and it'll be cleared out not as far as a few meters past their box. Cross to the back post is taken down nicely by Herzog, but Jonah Bigar is there to deal with it as he spins that ball all the way to the other side of the pitch. Garcia on the chase, but a nice turn there by Benz to get the ball up to Hickok. And it'll be out of play and a Gamecocks throw.
Yeah, South Carolina's been a very first half team when it comes to attack so far for this season, this 2024 season. But I think that also becomes relevant when they don't have to attack as hard in the second half. And that was the case tonight. They got their 2 in the first half, and then they got their 2 insurance, but they weren't attacking as hard as they needed to, because they can play from a lead, and they're comfortable playing from a lead. They've done it all season so far.
Cross taken to the stomach of Kieran Karp from this left-hand side, but he'll be fine to continue. Austin, their only real meaningful possession coming from their back line so far, this USC Upstate Spartan team.
Yeah, they're playing a lot of keep away from Carolina right now, just trying to open something up, and then they'll eventually play that long ball, just unable to connect with that offense, and not sure why that is. I think Carolina's just in perfect positioning on defense right now.
I think Pep Guardiola would throw up watching this team play. All the way back to Jennings, who, despite the scoreline we mentioned, has been very decent for this team tonight, has a few saves, and has been able to collect all those long balls and crosses from the Gamecocks. No real urgency from this Spartan side as we enter 6.5 minutes to go in this game. I think they know that they've been defeated, and they're just looking to kind of get this one over with. And it'll be collected again by Versteer, who's had the ball as much as some of the forwards for the Spartans tonight. As we mentioned, those long balls not really working. They've been going too far every time. Alfie Hughes on the ball now, though, and his pass will be intercepted by Sarah Magic. And then Alfie Hughes will do a great job of winning that ball back and is dropping his shoulder a bunch, been able to turn and find his center back, Andrew Goldsworthy. Goldsworthy with a long pass up to De La Garcia. His touch will find Alfie Hughes, and Alfie Hughes will be dispossessed by Halkett. And Alfie Hughes, a little bit disappointed in himself there, will stop play with a foul. It'll be Benz on the ball, sending it out to the left-hand side for Cox. Back to Elijah Jackson, whose crossfield ball will just about get to Jakob Benz. Jakob Benz with a cross in, header on by Sarah Magic, but kind of miscued there. That deflection coming out to the left wing. Cox was able to get a shot, but it was not on frame.
Shot accuracy has been a struggle for USC Upstate tonight too. They've had a couple chances. We talked about how they've struggled to produce offense, but when they've had those chances, it just hasn't been around the goal. It hasn't been on target, and we've seen more go into the bushes than into Versteer's office.
Yeah, the Stone Stadium's groundkeeper is going to have some work to do on those bushes behind Versteer's goal, as his goal kick is sent up into the action, finding Hickox, who will send it out basically into the stands. It will hit the players on the USC Upstate bench.
Substitution opportunity for South Carolina. On the pitch, number 29, Micah Colandi.
Micah Colandi coming on for Jonah Bigar, to a standing ovation from the crowd, as he's been very important on both sides of the ball here tonight.
5'8" sophomore from Colorado Springs, Colorado.
As Camden Kowalski throws the ball in to Kieran Karp. Garcia will win possession but be dispossessed just after. The long ball to Sarah Magic will be played down to Herzog and out to Hickok on the right side. Back to Herzog, kind of in that double pivot for USC Upstate. We'll send a ball across field that will be dealt with amazingly by Ronnie McGrath. We'll send the ball to DeGarzia with, who it was a great idea on that turn, but a little bit slippery for them here on this pitch. Cox with a far out cross to the back post. Abrams was there but unable to win the header because he's not the tallest on the team. Not by any means. Fast, but
most definitely the fastest. He's so flashy out there. We see him get to balls that I for one think are going way out of bounds, and then he catches up to it in 3 strides. He's got a perfect stride. He's very quick on his feet. Usually a big part of this USC Upstate offense, but just has been a little too quiet tonight. Has not been able to get the right touches on it.
Yeah, Versteer goal kick to DeGarzia. It will be a header won by Benz, and then finally it comes off of the head of Abrams, who we said wasn't one for winning headers, but it'll be a throw in that is flicked over De La Garcia. Nice little piece of play there by Hickok, and it'll be sent over to Terlinda, who finds his left back in Elijah Jackson. Austin, just under 3 minutes here, as a ball is sent into Herzog, who has got some space on this left side. We'll play Cox on the overlap and look to get in across. Just the ball came right to the 6 and was put just wide by Hoffman. But it almost demugged what I was going to say. But with just over 2 minutes left to play in this game, the only real competition that seems to still be alive for the Gamecocks is their first clean sheet of the season.
Yeah, they're looking for it, and when you put together a quote-unquote perfect game, it's so uplifting especially for a young squad like these guys, and especially for the young coaching staff. Everyone's still trying to gel together. Everyone's still trying to mesh and become one big unit. And so getting a big shutout would be huge for this team, and they've done a great job preventing it tonight.
The Steers' long goal kick once again, trying to find Garcia at that striker position. Will fall to Ronnie McGrath, who will be dispossessed by Halkett. Ronnie McGrath will win possession back, and it will come off of Kieran Karp and be a throw for Upstate.
We just saw Upstate's greatest chance of the night, though. That was a beautiful play, beautifully set up. That was the closest they've been. he was going for the bottom right corner, and Versteer was beat. He was beat for the first time tonight, but that's what happens when they had the bang-bang play there.
Horrible pass by Terlinda is dealt with just about by Hickok. That one will come off of the head of Alfie Hughes, and Ted Cargill will look to break, and he is pulled from behind. As we enter a minute left in this game, I think they're just about going to do it. I mean, it's only 4-0. I mean, there's a minute left. The game isn't over. But yeah, as you say, Austin, this could be a huge one as they've got a ranked opponent in just 2 games and a conference rival as well in Marshall, who historically have spent a lot of weeks at the top of the AP poll. So definitely this one will energize those players. And this play will start here in a moment after this free kick by Kieran Karp.
And Carolina, 100%
swung in, headed away.
Should be excited for the rest of the season and all the big-time matchups they're going to play, but you can't look past East Tennessee State. Like, I know on paper they haven't had the success South Carolina has, just like we've seen tonight with USC Upstate, but Carolina, when you put together a complete game that's going to, against teams like USC Upstate and East Tennessee State, that helps you play better against Marshall and against these top 10 teams,
Absolutely.
Which is much needed for this young program.
No easy games in college soccer, as we all know. Upsets can happen anywhere. So the Gamecocks do well to just about hold them. Well, no, they actually held them off perfectly. As we said, are about to receive their first clean sheet of the season. I know Versteer will be fired up about that.
Absolutely. Versteer and they've all been such a big part. Great job by Carolina here tonight. And
10 seconds left.
Excited to see how they do on Sunday against East Tennessee State.
As we send as the final whistle blows, as Austin mentioned, against East Tennessee. We'll be there for that one. Your goal scorers tonight, 2 from the captain, Harrison Meyering, 1 from Velasquez Lopez off of a nice 1-2. And then finishing the scoring is Camden Kowalski with his first goal of the season.
Yeah, it was great to see a lot of different people get on the scorecard. We've seen that quite a few times this year, whether that's an assist, a goal, or just blocked shots. Eddie's stat is a big stat in the scorecard for Carolina. So 3 different guys getting on the score sheet tonight goal-wise and a bunch of others in the Apples column. Very great to see for Carolina, and they get a big 4-0 win.
And as the Gamecocks send those Spartans way back up to Spartanburg, we want to thank you for joining us. Once again, I'm Zander Collins. I'm joined with Austin McConnell for SGTV. Thank you, guys. Have a good night, folks.